Hey everyone, Randy here for Go Midwest Fishing, and I got a little problem. I just bought a new used camper, and I didn't realize till I bought it that the refrigerator is electric only. So here's the fridge that came with it. See, it's a nice fridge. Um, Nothing wrong with this, but yeah, it only works when you're hooked into AC power. And it looks like the previous owner made some kind of extra little securing devices for it. We're gonna get rid of that too. All right, so here's the main issue. These refrigerators cost a lot. A new two-way fridge is $1,300 to $1,500. So what I did is I went to Facebook Marketplace and I just happened to find one there for $50 and I went and snagged it. So let's go take a look at that one now. All right, I got the fridge out my shop here. Now don't laugh, she's a beauty. All right, there it is. Somebody painted the door red. I did this, I was just testing out some paint on it. But let's take a look inside. So, I mean, overall it's pretty good. Got a few issues here. This shelf has a broken end right there, so it won't stay on. So we're gonna fix that. This door, the springs, it's supposed to be spring closed and it springs open. So I think somebody reversed the latches there, the hinges anyway. And it's got some yellow to it. And these shelves are pretty rusted. And if we look up top, it's got the electric switch. It's got the propane side. And that's where you can, the selector switch. Let's take a look at the back side. Everything looks intact. Looking up top. Actually, I just realized I have two broken shelves. This one's actually worse than this one. So we're going to try to repair both of those because these are hard to find. So I know it looks like it's kind of in rough shape, but I did plug it in. And the heating element here, the way these work is you got this big wire here. Goes to a little heating element, heats up an ammonia solution, and then just circulates around. There's no moving parts here. So if it works, it works. And I plugged it in, it got hot, it circulated, and the fridge cooled down. So we know the fridge works. I haven't been able to plug it into the propane yet because I just didn't have a way to do that. But as long as the fridge works, I can always fix minor propane issue if it's not lighting. So the fridge is good for $50. Really, you can't beat this. Now to pretty it up a little bit, said I'll be painting this front plate here. So that'll look nice. We'll clean it up. You know, it's actually not too dirty, but you know, give it a good rub down. And as far as the interior goes, all this yellowing and stuff, so we're going to try this method I've been seeing online here. Salon Care 40, this is basically hydrogen peroxide. You coat it in there, put some plastic over it or close the door or whatever, and then you put some UV light on it, and 8 to 9 hours, it should be back to white. I'm also going to try to reverse these hinges here, see if I can't get this to stay closed instead of open. And these wire shelves here, I'll scrub those down, and I think I'm going to go to Lowe's. I saw it had some rubberized coating you can spray, because a lot of the new fridges are just kind of rubber coated wire shelves. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to rub them down and spray them with that rubberized coating and see if that works. All right, let's get to work on the fridge, and then as soon as the fridge is done, I'm going to show you how I'm going to install it into the camper, because there are quite a few modifications we're going to have to do for this thing to work. All right, first thing we're going to do is take this door off. All right, there's the door, and see how yellow this is? I'm hoping this will take care of that yellowing and make it look kind of new again. I'll show you something with this door here. These things here are just, spring loaded back and forth. So I think when they put the door on, they put it on open and then tried to close it. Or if you put it on this way and then open it, it should spring back. Like that, and it springs back. All right, so I think we'll be good there. I'm gonna give it a good cleaning. Just got some simple green here. And do that before I put on the Salon Care. It says to make sure it's nice and clean first. All right, got it nice and clean. I'm gonna take this Salon Care 40, which I believe means it's 40% hydrogen peroxide. Anyway, it's really strong hydrogen peroxide solution. I'm just gonna paint it on, pretty much the whole area. A lot of this is already white, but a little yellow there, some spots on the bottom, just kind of some random. It's not too bad. It's mainly that one door. So I'm going to start with this, and then most people say to cover it with some cellophane, some kind of plastic, but since it's a fridge, I think I'm just going to put the light in here and shut the door. So I got a UV light. You put it in here, and UV reacts with the solution here and turns it white. So I haven't done this before. Let's see if it works. All right, I got it all coated as good as I could. Now I got a UV light. I'm just going to put it in there and shut the door and give it about 9 hours and come back and check it. Just clip it to the fins here. Should work. And this will only work where the UV light hits. You can also put the stuff out in the sunlight. That'll work too. It just needs the UV light. So I'm hoping with the door shut, it should shine throughout the whole fridge. We'll see. Plug her in. I figure if nothing else, between the hydrogen peroxide and the UV light, there shouldn't be any germs left in this thing. Okay. Close the door on it. Latch her shut. It is 3 o'clock. I guess we're going to come back late tonight and check it. All right, next item on the list, we're going to repair these ends here. See, it's little top pieces missing there. So they'll actually sit in the fridge. For that, I'm going to try this JB water weld. It says it's made for, it's an epoxy putty. It's made for plastic. So I'm going to just put it on the end there, build it up, and then you can, drill it, cut it, whatever, when it's done, and shape it to the right form. And I don't know, it's probably grayer or something. Here's it white, I don't know. But I can always put a little paint on there if I want to make it the right color. It just comes on a little stick here. Yeah, you can see it's got the 2 colors there. When you tear off a piece, mix it together, it hardens up in a few minutes. All right, it turned into just a white putty. Smash it on the end here. Takes 25 minutes to set, it says, and 1 hour to fully cure. So we'll know pretty soon how this one did. Flat screwdriver and kind of just help form that on the end. That's what the good end should look like. See, it kind of has a little stopper here, so that's what we're missing. I'll just do the other one, and we'll come back and check it. I just finished doing that Salon Care 40, and I think it whitened it really nice. Even up here, it didn't get rid of all the yellow, but it got rid of most of it. I did one major mistake though. After I got the fridge, it was actually really white, and then I did the door. I wrapped this up. I put it in here with the light and then closed it just to keep all the light surrounding this. But I had nothing. The Salon Care wasn't on the doors. It was just the regular plastic here in it. You can see a nice yellow streak all the way across where the UV light turned it yellow again. So see up here in the fridge, beautiful white. Down here you got kind of a little bit of yellow tint. You can see right where the light was, right here, left a little streak of yellow. And the reason these plastics turns yellow is usually because of sunlight and age like that. The UV light from the sun turns it yellow. Well, that's all I was doing is blast it with UV light. But apparently when you put that Salon Care 40 on there, it actually has the opposite effect and turns it white. So I did it all over again and tried doing it, but it didn't get as white as it was the first time. So anyway, whatever, I'll have to live with that. The door I put back on. I worked on the hinges. The springs, they're kind of broken. I tried fixing them, but it didn't work. So I'll probably end up just putting like a magnetic piece up here to help hold it closed. But after I washed it all out with soap and water, and it's super clean now. And now we just gotta put it in the camper. Well, actually, before it's in the camper, we gotta work on these shelves yet. Which, there it is. The putty all hardened up. Now I'm just gonna take, maybe take a Dremel or a knife or something, and I'm gonna carve this out. I sanded down all the ends and it looks pretty good. Here is the original end, and here's the one that I just made, and here's the other one. See, they're not perfect, but I think they're good enough to work. So let's see if they install in the fridge here. Let's see where I want prime. There we go. Got a bit uneven. There. It's in. Didn't fall off. And the top one, we'll put it right up here. There, we got 3 shelves ready to go. All right, the next thing, take a closer look at the fridge here. On the freezer door, remember I had trouble getting that to stay up. The hinges ain't working. I couldn't get the springs to work right, so what I did is I put a magnet right here and a piece of metal right here. So now it's just a magnetic closure and it stays shut. So we'll call that good. Here's a little closer look at it. I just screwed that metal there and glued a magnet to there. Now the magnet is like an 1/8 inch thick or so, so it does keep the door sticking out just a little bit further than it was, but it's better than having it flop open. All right, now on to the last step before the fridge is ready to install. The trim here is kind of a brown color, so I wanted to go black on the door, but I don't think that'll look great. So I got this burnished amber, and it's a hammered, forged hammered look. So I think it'll look pretty cool. I'm just going to paint the door, and then we're going to go see if it fits inside the camper. I almost forgot. We got the wire shelves to go yet. So look how nasty these are. They're pretty corroded. Just going to take some steel wool, trying to get that corrosion off, and then I got this plasti dip. It's kind of the stuff you dip your tools in to get rubber handles on them. Well, this is the spray version of it. I'm going to spray these shelves, make it just a rubber coated shelf to go in there because I think the chrome is kind of not salvageable now. While we're waiting for the paint to dry in the fridge in the shop here, I'm in the camper now. We're going to remove the old refrigerator. It's being held in place by these little tabs here. We just unscrewed those. It should just come right on out. Got a little tray on the bottom here, so I don't know if the little tray go out with it. There it goes. Alright, quick look behind here. It just sits on this tray here. It should come out. And then the plug just goes right to that hole and goes to an outlet underneath the sink there. Alright, I got the tray out. Had this little pipe here that went down as a drain tube. So I had to kind of bang that out. Looks like I did have a screw there. Didn't even see that. And then had a screw there and a screw down there. So got that out. Here's what the floor looks like underneath. Looks pretty dirty, so I'll clean that up. I'll bring the other fridge in here and see how it fits in here. And then I'll probably have to make some adjustments because it's going to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to make a little platform down there for it to sit on. Alright, check out these shelves. They look almost like new. Looking good. Now at first I thought, I'll just go online and buy a couple new shelves, no big deal. $90 each for these little wire shelves. That is absolutely ridiculous. So $9 can of plasti dip, and they look like new. Now on to the fridge. Look at that. I think it turned out pretty good. I think the color matches really well with the brown. I'm not the world's best painter, but I think it turned out fantastic. There we have it with the repaired shelves, the newly painted wire shelves, cleaned out inside, whitened up, and painted on the outside. I think it's time to actually go dry fit this in and see how it looks. Alright, here we go, and I thought it was actually going to be a lot shorter than this. I don't know, my measurements were off, but going into the side here, I mean, we're literally like a millimeter off here. I'm going to have to shave off the side there somewhere. So like this side's in, barely. This side just ain't. I don't know. It is actually the like exact dimensions, so I'm gonna have to widen it just a little bit. Alright, hopefully that's enough. Try number 2. Look at that. I think just gonna fit. looks like down in this one bottom corner. It's getting a little tight there. We got about a 3-inch gap up top. I'm going to put a little platform on the bottom, raise it up, and maybe I'll get rid of the tight issue on the very bottom. It's the next day now, and we're going to try this again. I built a little platform for the fridge, so let's look at that. I made it's like a 2¼ inch little platform for the fridge to sit on. That should bring the fridge right up to the top level of the counter. Just probably a 1/2 inch to spare. So let's see if it fits in there. All right, I got it this time. Oh, much better. It fits except for this little trim piece on the outside with little screws there. Now that's catching, so yeah, we're gonna have to widen it out one more time. All right, I sliced off another 1/4 inch. Better go this time. Oh, all right, minus a little dust I gotta clean off. Look at that. Looks pretty good. Got it to fit right in there. Got just a little bit of gap on top, which I didn't want to bring it all the way up because I want to get my finger in here to push these buttons and stuff. But I like the color and everything. Looks pretty good. Now I got to run some propane lines to the refrigerator, and also I got to cut 2 giant holes this size in the side of the camper, so the air, one bottom one will service the fridge and also let air come in, then one on the top let air flow in and out through the top. And help make it more efficient, I'm going to add a couple like little computer fans on the top, one to circulate the air through there. And I also want to wire in some 12-volt ports here, some USB ports and stuff, somewhere for this to plug into. So while I got the fridge out, I'm going to run some wires across through here and put some outlets in this little side cabinet also. So you can see that on another video. I'm going to be installing USB ports all throughout here by each bed and wiring it up so we can plug in all our electronics. So we're going to need access to the back side of this fridge, and it also needs venting because it runs on heat, so you need that heat source to escape out. So I got a couple of these vents here, and I got to cut holes in the side of the camper, so that's going to be tricky. I'm not sure what's in the wall back there. Might be some wires, some studs, wire, so we're going to take it easy and cut a little at a time, see where we're at, and it's got to be right behind the fridge too. So this is the tricky part. All right, I measured where the connections were on the fridge over here and made it so the hole will go right where the connections are. I used the frame there as a template, threw that out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut through this first layer of wallboard here. So I'm not going all the way through it, that way I don't cut anything I'm not supposed to. There is a stud that's running right up through about there. I looked up in there with an endoscope and I didn't see anything. I'm not sure what's over here though. Let's go outside and check. All right. Now we're on the outside. This little vent, we can see that on the inside. So our other vent's going to go right about in here. So just looking, there's nothing that should affect it. You can kind of see inside there too. The table height is right about here. So the other one will be right about in here. And this one will be right about in here. I think we're good to go to start cutting the first layer out. Alright, so what I did is I drilled a hole right there, right where the top hole should be. And they got some nice lines on here so I can make it nice and straight. So I'll put the top hole right about there. Put this template up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a marker around the outside to mark the hole that I'm going to cut.
Right now.
I am drawing the line that I got to cut out. Alright, I'm going to take the template, see if it fits. So close. It fits up and down, just a hair more on the side. Alright, now does it fit? I'm going to see if I can't leave this stud in there. I don't want to take that off if I don't have to. Just maybe notch it out right there so this can set in there how it's supposed to. Alright, here's what I end up doing. I actually put a couple pieces of wood in here and actually framed out the hole so when you screw it in, it has something to screw into and hold it nice. I don't have enough stainless screws to go in here, so I just put a couple temporary ones to hold it. But I'll be putting butyl tape all around this edge. That'll help waterproof it, and then I'll finish screwing it in tomorrow. There we go. One vent done, almost. And there you go. Top one's in, bottom one's in. Said just temporarily. I still need to put some butyl tape around there. Get some screws to screw it fully in. Alright, now we need to get propane to this. So I'm going to go underneath, get some copper wire, and come up through the floor. There's already a drain hole that was in there, so I think I'm just going to use that, and we'll pipe some copper tubing up to the fridge. Alright, now I got my roll of 3/8 inch copper tubing, and I'm going to splice it in underneath and then come up through the floor to the back of the fridge. Alright, I'm using the existing drain hole here from the old fridge and go up through there. Then I drilled a hole through the frame here and put some rubber grommets in there, along with over here. Let's take a look. Same with right here. These were existing holes, so I just put a rubber grommet in this one here to protect the tubing. So here's the propane pipe running along here, and they already have a T in here. Looks like all I have to do is take off this cap and screw an end onto there. So I'll go there, through the hole there, woo, up through the frame here, and then up to the floor. Through there. It's getting it to bend around all these curves is going to be the hard part. Alright, I got the bottom piece plugged in, running through there, and now we just got to go up to the floor. Here's the back of the fridge. Right here's where we got to plug into. So we obviously got enough copper here, so we're just gonna make sure we come up, maybe loop it around, give a little slack there, have enough room to plug it into the fridge. I'll put a fitting on this end now. Alright, change of plans. When I put it up through the floor there, the turn was a little too tight and I got a kink in the copper. So I just so happened to have a rubber hose that was off my other camper. So I ended up just splicing that into it, and that way it won't kink as it comes up to the floor. So you can see right there, I just put a fitting on the end of this one, put the hose right onto it, so that's going to work better, I think. Okay, technically this fridge is ready to go. I could put it back in there and plug it in, and it should work on propane now, but I'm going to add one more little feature. It's going to help it operate a lot more efficiently. So I got these two computer fans here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to install it right up here in this top vent. And then just plugs in with a USB port. I'll put one in here somewhere. So the way this fridge works is it's got some cooling fins up here. So you need air to come in through that bottom vent, up through here, and across these cooling fins. By putting those fans right behind here, it should keep that airflow moving and keep this cooler. To get electrical power back behind the fridge there, I have to tap in some lines over here, and we got a furnace, hot water heater, and stove and stuff. So there's some wires running through here I can get into. Let's take a look. So I just took out the drawers here, and there's a little cover plate here we take off. Looking in here, and way back here, you see a couple. There's a positive and negative running out of the wall there. So we can just splice into that, and then run a couple wires back along through there, up through there where those holes are, kind of, and into the behind the refrigerator. Alright, I just drilled two holes. I put in a USB port right here and drilled another hole up there. So I'm going to run some wires through. We also need to run the USB cord through for the fan. It'll go through that hole up top. I'm going to have additional wires go through to put in a outlet out over here too. Look up in there real quick. There's the USB outlet. And I'm also going to put a 12-volt outlet right here so I can plug some accessories like this into. Start running them along back edge here. Keep it out of the way. So I had to cut the power when I was doing the wiring, so it was pretty dark in here, so I couldn't film it, but I got it all done. I'll show you what I did. I spliced into the wires through there, ran it along through there, and then I put it, you can see I put this conduit stuff on it. Ran it along through there. And then I wired in the USB port, and then I ran some extra wires through there. There's my 2 fans hooked up. So in here, there's the switch right there. I can turn those fans on and off for the cooling of the fridge. There's the USB port I put in, and then I also wired in a separate 12-volt supply on the outside here so we can plug in all these other accessories. I made a pretty good mess putting all this together, so now I'm just going to clean it up real nice, and I'm going to slide that fridge in, hook that up, and see if it works on propane. We're in for the last time, hopefully. Alright, looking at it through our back vent. There's our fans. It looks like there's plenty of room. Wasn't sure if it was going to be in the way or not. I measured it and it looked alright. Let's see, here's our power cord. I wonder if... Yeah, we're not going to get any extra room out of that, I don't think. And looking underneath. Alright, here is our propane. Oh, look at that. Perfect fit. Right there. Almost like I planned it. Look at that. Now to turn on the propane. Hopefully it works. I have not tested on propane yet. I know it works on electric. So I don't want to do all this work for nothing. There you go. We got a flame going. So yes, it does work on propane. Although when I was using the igniter, I could not get it to ignite. So I think there's something up with the igniter, but if you just put a lighter back here, it will light it. So I'll probably end up trying to fix that igniter on that. But for now, we'll just call it working and clean it all up, finish putting the screws into this and the butyl tape on it, checking for leaks on all my fittings, that kind of stuff, cleaning up the inside. I'll have to leave it running for a few hours and come back and see if it actually cools down. All right, to finish up, I got my butyl tape, stainless screws. And if you haven't seen this stuff before, it's just kind of like a putty that acts as a caulk. You just put it around the edge of the rim on here, and that should seal it up, keep the water out. So it looks like with all the tape on it, let's put it in place. All right, it is finished. Here's the outside. All right, it's all sealed up. Both covers are on. It looks actually pretty good. Looks almost like the factory did it. Let's go inside and see what that looks like. And here's the installed fridge. Open her up. Got all the shelves put back together. We fixed the rusty wire shelves. Fixed the hinge on here. You can lock it down right there. Works on electric, works on propane, and it all fits. It actually looks pretty good after it got a new paint job. Alright, that did take a little bit of time, but overall, for just over $100, I think it was worth it, considering a new fridge costs, $1,300 to $1,500. Although that is still an option, and you can kind of, you saw the work I had to put into getting this fridge, looking good and working. So you can skip that process if you buy a new one, but it will cost you. But overall, I'm happy with the way it turned out. Now I'm just going to install, I got like over the bed up there, I got some USB ports I'm going to put in, and behind me on the bunk beds, some more there. And then I'm sanitizing all the water tanks and giving it a thorough cleaning. And we're just about ready to go on our first camping trip next week. So be sure to tune in there. Take some video of that campground and show you how well the camper worked. All right, everyone. Hope this is helpful. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.